I'm Travis Walsh, and the views I'm about to express are mine alone, but the fact is, after what I get done talking about this, you might actually want to start thinking about it yourself. You know, if there's two things in this world that really I've always had my support is professional wrestling and the Autism Society. You see, the fact of the matter is, being born after 20 years of going through high school and going through all the school and all the crap that I've gone through, I think it's me being socially awkward along with everything else. I think it was a high time when I went to the doctor, I got diagnosed with mild autism, and that explained everything. But you see, when I was 16 years old, I got into this business. I got into the wrestling business that I loved, that I always supported, that I loved. And you know what the fact of the matter is? I've met some rotten apples in the wrestling business. Not going to mention any names, from PEI that call themselves a cowboy, or a guy that comes up with a Steiner recliner or anything else like that. But the fact of the matter is, I met a lot of good guys in the wrestling business that I call friend to this day. But the problem is, a lot of these independent wrestling promoters around here are so untrustworthy. They can tell you that it was sunny outside, and the fact of the matter is, you go outside, you might as well take an umbrella with you because they know they're lying. Now, unlike Travis Canning, who is the owner-operator of New Evolution Wrestling, who, in my opinion, is probably one of the most honest guys in the world today, this guy here that I'm about to talk about puts a black guy on Travis Canning and every single other good wrestling promoter in the world that's always trying to make a living, not just make a living, but just do it for the fact that they love professional wrestling, who are promoting the shows. But the fact of the matter is, there was recently an incident down in the United States of a promoter, an independent wrestling promoter, who decided that he was going to make a little extra money for himself and screw everybody else in the goal. Namely, he decided that he was going to run a wrestling show for the Autism Society of America. He made a good house for the fact that all the people who were wrestling fans or not decided to go to a wrestling show, enjoy themselves, good entertainment, and know that the ticket that they're being paid for is going to go to the Autism Society, an organization that desperately needs funds to help people like me and more severe people on the autism spectrum get the help they need, get the programs they need, get the identification that they need when it comes to provincial, federal, or state governments to help them get the money that they need to survive, and the education as well as the awareness. This guy took it upon himself that after the show, he was going to take every single bit of money that they got from the show, not only not pay his wrestlers, but not pay the building, not pay a rent on everything that they owned, and not only that, he gave a bounce check to the autism charity of his choice, took the money that was made for the show, and now he's disappeared, not to be seen since. You see, the fact of the matter is, when NEW is going to be recently doing an upcoming show for a young girl that was in a tragic car accident, and they're going to take the money and they're going to bring it to the charity to help her with her medical expenses. You see, this guy here is putting a black eye on NEW and every single other independent wrestling promotion in North America because of the fact of his own selfishness, his own greed, his own megalomaniac that he thinks that he could do whatever he wants and get away with it. You see, this is the kind of thing that really makes me upset about independent wrestling, because 95% of the time you're dealing with decent people, but just sometimes there's a few rotten apples in the bunch. Here's my lesson to every single one of the independent wrestling promoters out there. If you know very well that you're not going to go through with the idea of giving the money to charity and take it for yourself, don't run the wrestling show in the name of a charity, because sooner or later you're going to get people after you, higher ranked people, maybe, I don't know, IRS or some other, not talking about Erwin R. Shyster, not talking about Mike Mondo, but IRS. Not talking about that guy. I'm talking about federal law enforcement that's going to come after you for stealing money away from an organization that you said you were going to help. But the fact of the matter is, a rotten apple is a rotten apple, and sooner or later it's going to stink. But unfortunately, if you leave that rotten apple in the pile, it's going to ruin everything. And what I mean by ruin everything, it's going to take trust away from other independent wrestling promotions that actually do want to help out people that are in need. But if you leave a wound open long enough and it gets infected, sooner or later it's going to destroy the entire body. I'm Travis Walsh, and that's my opinion.